Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Father Barrett Memorial Scholarship Presentation Ceremony 2020 to 2021. I'm your Master of Ceremony today, Hong Chun Samson, and I am a 2020 graduate of YN College Hong Kong. I'm now studying Year 1 in the University of Hong Kong and major in medicine. I'm very happy to be invited by YN College Hong Kong to be the MC today. And ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome our honorable board members and honorary advisors onto the stage. May we first invite Father Stephen Chow to lead the prayer for us. Father Chow, please.
May I invite all of us here to bow our heads for blessing and pray for our recipients today. In the name of Father, Son, Holy Spirit, amen. Dear God, we ask that you help our scholarship and grant recipients to walk in your wisdom and grace. We pray for the discerning heart and mind in all things. Help them to be wise leaders and influencers in the generation, not conformed to the world, but transformed by your power of truth, goodness, beauty, and love. We ask that you equip them with all that they need to make a difference with your blessing. Help them to live as salt and light in a dark world that so desperately needs to know the truth from you. We ask for your power to help them walk continually in honesty and integrity. Build within them deep sanctity, that they would be more concerned about their character than their reputation. We pray that they would seek to bring honor to you throughout their lives, and they would have a vision and heart for the world. Extend the boundaries and give them incredible influence with people and nations. Make their hearts and spirits open to every plan and purpose you have for them, and help them be willing to move audaciously wherever you call. We ask this in the name of Jesus our Lord. Amen. In the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen.
Thank you, Father Chow. YN Post-Secondary Education Trust Fund was founded by Father Cyril Barrett in 1981. Its original purpose was to help students who, due to a shortage of places, were unable to enter a university in Hong Kong. Father Barrett worked tirelessly to build up this fund, and his efforts were rewarded by a very generous response on the part of alumni all over the world. This was the prototype of the Education Trust Fund you see today. Hundreds of alumni have been benefited by this fund, and now the list of the newest recipients is going to be announced. First, we are delighted to invite Dr. Davis Chan, the chairman of the YN Post-Secondary Trust Fund, to have his welcome speech, as well as a brief report. Dr. Chan, please.
Dear members and advisors of the board, parents, teachers, awardees, and guests, good afternoon. Welcome to the presentation ceremony of the YN Post-Secondary Education Trust in the memory of Father Barrett. Let me first introduce our trustees, co-op members, and honorary advisors, and in particular, our keynote speaker. They include Father Chow, Father Stephen Chow, Father Clement Choi, Madam Justice Kwan, Mr. George Tam, our past chairman and our honorary advisor, Dr. Y.L. So, our past chairman and our honorary advisor, Mr. Warren Chung, principal of YN College Kowloon, Mr. Paul Ho, honorary accountant of the Trust Fund and chairman of the investment subcommittee, Mr. Gary Cheng, Mr. Julian Ng, the Vice Principal of YN College Hong Kong. And finally, I welcome Mr. Alan Ng again, a YN scholar, and now the chairman of the Father Barrett Fellowship, who will be our keynote speaker today. Some of our members cannot be with us on this occasion, either because they are out of town or have other commitments. So they include Mr. Justice Patrick Chan, who is the chairman of the selection committee, Professor Leung Ping Chung, and Mr. Anthony Wu. In addition to our trustee, co-op members, and advisors, I would like to thank some individuals who have worked very hard behind the scene. They include Ms. Jo Lee and Mrs. Sharon Hui, who's over there. Our Star Studio and our office staff are also helping out today. May I take this chance to thank them all for sparing their time and efforts to support the trust fund and the promising young gentlemen from the two YNs. We are very honored to have Mr. Alan Ng today with us as our keynote speaker. He's an alumnus of YN College Hong Kong and obtained the scholarship, the Father Barrett Scholarship from 1984 to 1987, proceeding to his post-secondary education in the UK. He's currently a practicing lawyer in Hong Kong. He committed to supporting his alma mater not just by being one of the co-op members of our post-secondary education trust fund, but also by assisting with the setup of the Father Daly Scholarship. We are eagerly looking forward to hearing his speech and learning how we should be grateful for the YN education and should be resolved to give back by offering help to our younger YNs. The scholarship and grants under the trust fund are named after Father Barrett. I'm aware that maybe none of our recipients today had the fortunes to know about Father Barrett personally, and in reality, me neither. He was a principal at YN College Hong Kong from 1956 to 1962, and then from 1970 to 1982, 18 years in total. In that era, there were many talented secondary school students, but only very few, maybe 2 to 3% were able to get into university. As we only had 1 or 2 universities in Hong Kong. The Chinese University was formally established in 1963. I learned from Dr. So, who is Father Barrett's student, that Father Barrett was not satisfied with such education system in Hong Kong. To tackle the issue, Father Barrett first raised funds from alumni, manufacturers, to support YN graduates to study abroad. This opened up wider graduate opportunities. Secondly, he put pressures on the governments by talking to the government officials in private and writing articles in public to urge the government to create more universities and more degree programs. He oversaw the establishment of this fund, but when he died in the late 80s, there were still only 2 universities in Hong Kong. However, his persistent efforts finally bore fruits in the 90s. When more universities opened, we now have 11 universities in Hong Kong and many other tertiary institutions offering post-secondary education. Consequently, almost all of our graduates have the chance to take advantage of post-secondary education. I believe not the YN community, but also the Hong Kong community as a whole should be thankful for Father Barrett's persistent efforts and contribution. I think Father Barrett's stories has another levels of meaning today. When many of our young people in Hong Kong are dissatisfied with the social situation or with the governments, there are different ways to respond to such circumstances. It is not for me to say which way is the best, but we can all gain insights from Father Barrett's approaches and consider how and where we should put our energy in to create the best impact. I hope the recipients today can all appreciate what Father Barrett has done for them and for Hong Kong in general. Be exemplary in your conduct, both during your studies and after your graduations. Contribute to the best efforts, whatever path you choose to follow. As Mr. Alan Ng has done, resolve to contribute back to YN and to Hong Kong when you are in position to do so. I am pleased to report that this year, out of our existing grant recipients, one student has completed his studies, while 22 will have their grants renewed. For scholarships, there are 2 new recipients, one from YN College Hong Kong and one from YN College Kowloon. They will both receive the Patrick Yu Book Prize as well. There's one more student who will receive the book prize, as the total number of recipients of the Patrick Yu Book Prize is 3 this year. As for new grant applicants, we have 4 new applicants. 3 of these are commencing their first year of university study in this year, while one of them is studying in his 4th year of medicine. This brings the total number of graduates supporting by our grant to 26, meaning that we are providing slightly over $1 million in financial support this year. May I take this opportunity to thank our board members in particular. The financial situations of our fund has been affected by Hong Kong's economic challenges, but this did not affect their commitment in supporting our graduates. Finally, I would like to congratulate all recipients and wish them all the best in their studies. Please remember the purpose of the meaning behind the trust fund, and continue to live out the spirit of Jesuit education, and always remain man for and with others. May I also thank all the parents for your support of our YN gentlemen, even during these difficult times of Hong Kong. Thanks for coming. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Chan. We are honorable to invite Mr. Alan Ng, our co-op board member and also one member of the selection board, to have his keynote speech. Mr. Ng, please.
Dr. Chen, Father Chow, Dr. So, my fellow trustees, honorary advisors, parents, and my fellow YN brothers. When I received my alma mater's invitation about 2 weeks ago to speak in this important ceremony, I was immediately struck by a mixed feeling. On the one hand, I'm always grateful for any opportunity given by my alma mater to speak in front of young YN students, young YN brothers. Given that I'm only a small potato among all my fellow trustees. On the other hand, I'm under considerable pressures because I have been living on earth for more than 5 decades and practicing as a counsel for just 3 decades. How can I possibly give you the nuts and bolts of my experience within 10 minutes? This is a daunting task because to me, 30 years working life is like snapping one's fingers, and 10 minutes talk is just like a split second. I graduated from YN Hong Kong in 1982 and belonged to the early batch of recipients of the trust fund. I remember the time when I suddenly saw the late Father Barrett in my university campus one day afternoon, when he told me that he had come to England to have a round UK trip to visit the YN Old Boys in the UK. This was indeed a very touching and unforgettable moment, and has precipitated my resolve to stand by and give whatever support to the Trust Fund in good and bad times. From my 30 years life and working experience, I hope I can give you some guidance. Firstly, your life experience is a question of choice. I do not think I need to emphasize the importance of making a right choice in our life. However, your choice will be governed by the values you hold on to in your life. There is a biblical truism. Every tissue of life stems from the heart. What values is your heart filled with at this moment? This question is very important because you have just left YN, a sheltered environment, and entered into a bigger and somewhat more sophisticated community of university. You are bound to encounter more people from different backgrounds, ideas, and philosophy. Be careful. Don't rush to accept those ideas and philosophy, even though those ideas and philosophies are coming from a person of high status, like the American President Donald Trump. Think carefully and read more before you choose to accept and advocate those ideas. Don't make a blind jump. There's no need for such a rush. Let me elaborate on this. There must be a reason why you work hard in your study. Don't tell me you don't know your reason. Is the reason why you are working hard is to excel yourself for recognition? Is the reason why you are working hard to get a scholarship? Is the reason why you are working hard is to extricate your parents from poverty? Or is the reason why you are working hard is simply that you know your mission in the community, and working hard is the only way to achieve your mission and feel your passion? In making choice in my life, I have been influenced by 6 important values. They are love, respect, service, honesty, self-discipline, and simplicity. I have no time to speak on each value, save to mention 3 values briefly, because I need to save time to speak an important topic later. The first and paramount value is love. Love is an important element in our lives. Love embraces care, selflessness, and a sincere desire for the good of others rather than from our own interests. Love is expressed through our respect, service, compassion, kindness, forgiveness, and patience with others. We can learn to become a more loving person, and such learning is a lifelong learning. The second value, which I like to mention briefly here, is self-discipline. On the constructive note of self-discipline, it is interlinked with perseverance and helps us taking various steps towards achieving our dream or goal set about. On the preventive note of self-discipline, these values save us from committing wrongful deeds. The third value is service. Being one of the YNites, we must be very familiar with and indeed practicing the values of service. There is no need for further elaboration, but I must stress one point. When we serve people, we do it out of love, and not in the hope of any exchange. Paradoxically, if we serve in the right attitude, we are benefiting ourselves as a whole person. So, from now on, let's serve and be served. Secondly, in our in our present busy and hectic living environment. It is of importance to have some time, say half an hour every day, to reflect on your daily behavior. Through this quiet moment, you are able to reflect on the decisions you have made every day to see whether they are in line with your values. You hold on to it, practice quiet time, and through this quiet time, you will learn to be a better person. Thirdly, you by now must have chosen your field of study. What I want to say is that you have to join your field with passion and faithfulness. Passion drives perfection, and the highest achievers in any field are those who do it because of passion. Faithfulness means studying and practicing in your field with the heart of a faithful servant. You have just begun studying in your own field. You may find some difficulties at the beginning, but trust your choice and persevere in it. A dosage of hard work and perseverance may kindle your interest and passion. But in the event that after a lot of hard work, you still find the field very difficult and have no passion in your chosen field, you and your chosen field, in a word, does not fit at all. You have to consult your seniors in your field on your intended change. You must remember, your chosen field is not something set in stone. It is good to see students making a right choice at the very beginning and persist in his choice till the end with passion. However, to me, it is equally good to see students who discover their own strengths and passion at some later stage and have the courage to change, to unleash their strengths and passion to the good of the community. I cannot live without saying this. You have to remember, and don't forget today's occasion. Don't forget your fond memory in YN and how the YN has molded you into the kind of person you are now of. Don't forget your roots, in particular at the time when you have excelled in your field. Please look back. The trust fund is in need of you financially. I liken the trust fund to a 40-year-old tree which has provided shade for many YNites, and I have stood by the trust fund for about 20 years. Some other trustees have even supported the trust fund for over 30 years. I take my hat off to them. The trust fund now requires about 1.3 million and comfortably 1.5 million a year to support all the current recipients. The trust fund now has benefited nearly over 200 YN students. The trust fund's income comes from the wise investment by the trustees, but still the economy will suffer setback or even tsunami. If the trust funds can have 20 guiding angels from the recipients who are willing and continuously contribute to the trust fund by making a donation in the range of 50,000 to 100,000 per head per every year, the trust fund can live on comfortably, regardless of the adversity of the economy. I hope one day in the future, you will be one of the guiding angels of the trust fund. I further hope that you have not taken my message as passing on to you many future obligations. They are not obligations, but our right response to the trust fund which has done good to us. Finally, please give thanks to your parents who have made a wise decision to entrust you to the care of YN and have all along supported you in the pursuit of your dream unfailingly. May God bless you all.
Thank you, Mr. Ng. Now we'll present the certificates this year. May we now invite Mr. Gary Cheng to present the certificate for us. The award recipients are Chan Arif, congratulations, and we now have Mr. Chan Ka-Leung Gallen. Thank you, and thank you, Mr. Chen. And now may we invite Mr. Rowan Chong to present the certificate for us. The award recipients are Chan Ka-Ming. And now we have Mr. Chan Keng Sheng. Congratulations and thank you, Mr. Zhou. May we now invite Mr. Paul Ho to present the certificate for us. The award recipients are Guo Zixuan. And the next award recipient is Quan Marcus Alaric. Congratulations and thank you, Mr. Ho. May we now invite Madam Susan Kwan to present the certificate for us. The award recipients are Leung Sik-Ji Jonathan. And the next award recipient is Ma Tong Wong. Congratulations and thank you, Madam Kwan. May we now invite Mr. Alan Ng to present the certificate for us. Award recipients are So Chun San Johnson. The next award recipient is Choi Hei Loi. Now may we invite Mr. Julian Ng to present the certificate for us. The award recipients are Mr. Wong Chen Boon, and the next award recipient is Wong Chen Hei Vincent. So now we may invite Mr. George Tam to present the certificate for us. The award recipients are Wong Chun Ho. Next prize recipient is Mr. Wong Chong Wah. May we now invite Dr. Y.L. So to present the certificate for us. The award recipients are Wong Sheng Han. Congratulations. And the next award recipient is Yang Chi Ho. And now may we invite Father Clarence Cho to present the certificate for us. The award recipients are Yun Chun Teng. And the next award recipient is Chan Ka Yu. The award recipient is Ho Ka Lun. Congratulations and thank you, Father Choi. Now may we invite Dr. Davis Chan to present a certificate for us. The award recipients are Lam Chi Kip, the next award recipient is Wong King Wan. Congratulations and thank you, Dr. Chan. May we now invite Father Stephen Chow to present a certificate for us. The next prize recipient is Hong Chan, myself. And the next scholar is Mr. Lam Nodi. Congratulations. Congratulations and thank you, Father Chow. As all certificates has been presented, may I now invite the honorable guest to leave the stage. It's a pity that some prize recipient cannot join us today. And now I have 3 of their speeches and I'll read out for them. The first prize recipient is Mr. Law Man Hay, who graduated from Wang College Hong Kong in 2018. And here is his speech. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic and quarantine policy, I'm not able to attend a ceremony from the UK. No matter how stressful things get or how many routines get disrupted, life and study must go on. I would like to take this opportunity to express my sincere thanks to the Board of Trustees for the scholarship, especially during this dramatic situation. I hope all of you and your families remain safe and healthy. And this is Mr. Law's speech. And the second speech we have from Mr. Leung Hiu Fong, who graduated from Wang College Hong Kong in 2018. Here is his speech. I would like to express my sincere gratitude to the grant. It has enabled me to fully devote myself to study without worries of finance, especially during this hardest time. Although I'm not among the topmost, the grant has offered much recognition and motivation for my effort. I wish I could truly be meant for and with others upon my completion of allied health profession by contributing to the society in the future, just as how this grant has helped me in my academic pursuit and personal growth. And the third prize recipient speech is from Mr. Wong Tin Ho, who graduated in Wang College Kowloon in 2017. Here is his speech. I'm always grateful that Wang gives me a lot of support, even if I did not receive the memorial grant. Studying in Wang was conducive to my personal growth, and when I had equipped my ability to study in university, the grant allows me a better planning for the future. This year is a tough one to most of us, but I'm sure for those who are attending the ceremony today, you have found your way to overcome the challenges. Never forget the support from YN, and please make good use of the scholarship or grant. Although you may not be able to spend part of the grant for an overseas exchange this year, you can still save it for the future. In this rapidly advancing era, I believe it's essential for us to have more exposures to widen out horizons. The scheme has indeed lifted off the burden off our shoulders. Here I wish all of you a bright and promising future. And these are the 3 speeches from the previous prize recipients. And now we have come to the sharing section. Today we are glad to have 2 of the award recipients to share with us. And now may I first invite Mr. Augustine Chan to have some sharing with us. Mr. Chan, please.
So good afternoon, trustees, parents, and fellow Wine graduates. I am Augustine Chan, and I graduated from Wine College Hong Kong in 2019. And I'm now studying medicine, Year 2 medicine in the University of Hong Kong. First of all, I want to thank the school for giving me a chance to share today in this important presentation ceremony, and also the trustees for giving me the chance to receive the Father Barrett Memorial Scholarship last year. So today, I'll briefly share about how YN education has changed me and how I acquired the qualities that equipped me to overcome difficulties in learning and school in this difficult pandemic. Firstly, I would like to talk about self-directed learning. In YN education has always stressed that we motivate ourselves and initiate self-learning. And in this COVID-19 pandemic, it is difficult for us to learn due to difficult circumstances. And in medical school, a lot of lectures and learning materials are all put online. And given the nature of medical school, a lot of practicals like dissection and clinical skills section has to be taught face-to-face to have effective teaching. As a result, a lot of us may feel overwhelmed and feel alone facing piles of lectures online. A lot of us may also suffer from motivational problems, as we are always stuck at home, facing a lot of lectures and e-learning videos online. And also, we may have learning problems as we cannot ask professors questions face-to-face, especially when we have to learn an overwhelming amount of free body systems in the second semester last year, staying at home. And as dissection practicals and clinical skills teachings are delayed, a lot of the dissection sections are always delayed. So we have so we have no time to prepare, as the dissection practicals and clinical skills schedule is very busy and packed once this class is resumed. And in this situation, YN's teachings have always come into my mind. We have to always force ourselves to complete some objectives every day, and we have to self-initiate our learning at home. Although some of us may have difficulties to motivate ourselves when we are stuck at home, the self-independence developed in YN has come into use, and I've always reminded myself that I have to force myself to work, although it is pretty difficult at some times. And also, we can self-initiate revision groups with our friends and improve our learning in different topics. Secondly, the second quality I want to talk about is the all-round development offered by YN education. Amid the COVID-19 pandemic, a lot of us may have mental health problems as we are always stuck at home, facing lectures, or feel alone as we cannot meet our friends. And in this situation, the all-round development offered by YN education has always allowed me to balance my mental health. For instance, maybe I will go to have some exercise when I feel bored at home, or I may play music because I play the trombone, and also I host weekly Catholic cell meetings to share our difficulties with other medical students, and this has also helped me to overcome help me to balance my mental health in this difficult time. And at last, I think that it is always important for us to bear the teachings of YN in mind amid these difficult circumstances. And I want to thank the school again for giving me the chance to share about my experience this year. And I hope that all of you may stay safe and healthy amid this difficult pandemic. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chan. And we are glad today to have another Mr. Chan, Mr. Billy Chan, to have his sharing with us. Mr. Chan, please.
Father Chow, Dr. Chan, and Board of Trustees and fellow YNites. Thank you for inviting me to give a little sharing. It's a little embarrassed because it's my very first time to come back after 30 years, maybe, to witness this award ceremonies. I was awarded in 1993, so it was a while ago. And life always gives you a little surprise. Like I get my leaving certificate today of my Form 7 leaving certificate. I should have invited my mom and wife and my daughter to witness. Anyway, since it's my very first time, so I didn't know what tone I should give this sharing. Anyway, I think maybe I give you 3 things to take away today. The first thing is believe in yourself. I remember very vividly in my Form 6 report, my class teacher, I won't tell you the name, but he put in my report a very mediocre student. Okay, being a very naughty and a very eager to learn student, I look up the dictionary. And it means, it's a better word for 冇得救. Okay, so, but after all these years, I still believe in myself. I still believe in the education of YN and all those experiences I have in YN. So I could have taken the other way, and I don't know what will happen. The second thing is chase your dream. Okay, if you don't have a dream, dream about one. My dream started in 1992, maybe, when I visited a Siheng in Ritchie Hall, which is also a Jesuit education institution. I went to visit him to see, how he's living in the hall and so on. And he introduced a neighbor to me, and which is an architecture student. I was intrigued by his room because it's full of different models and drawings and so on. So I asked more about what this subject is about. So later I learned architects do like a teamwork of things, which when I was in YN, I am a very naughty scout. So one thing I learned about in scouting is a teamwork. So I thought, hey, this is maybe the thing. This is maybe the subject I want to pursue on. So I asked more about it, and I go on study art and also study some computer softwares to pursue on this path. And the first thing I want to share with you today, I heard it mentioned a few times already, is meant for and with others. And if there's only one thing that you should take away from YN education, is this phrase. It helped me a lot. And when you're about 40 or about 40 something, you think about life, and you think about what my future would be. And it keeps me going by remember this phrase. My success or my not so successful career is not only for myself or my family, it's for the good of others. And that's how I remember the very important things in YN. It doesn't have to be very big. You can start from your own family, and then you start with your school and maybe your community. So do things for others, and you'll find great satisfaction and joy. And that's what happened to me. So congratulations to all the award recipients, and thank you again for inviting me. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chan. And now we will invite the scholar this year, Mr. Nordy Lam, to give his vote of thanks. Mr. Lam, please.
Good afternoon, Father Chow, Father Choi, Madam Justice Kwan, Principal Chan, Principal Chung, honorable guests, teachers, parents, Wyanites, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Nordy Lam, a Year 1 student studying philosophy, politics, and economics at King's College London, and this year's recipient of the Father Barrett Memorial Scholarship. Here, I would like to thank YN for nurturing all Wyanites here to be unique and all-rounded human beings. One of the best perks Wyanites have is the freedom we are given in various aspects of school life. When organizing any activity, students have their own discretion when making decisions, and even if mistakes were made, these mistakes become invaluable experiences for us to learn and grow. YN has also nurtured us into a reflective learner so that we can reflect on and evaluate our mistakes and bear them in mind so as to prevent them in the future. But more importantly, we grow to become a mature person by learning to bear the responsibilities of our actions and decisions allowed by the liberty that we enjoy. And from all the trials and errors we have gone through these 6 years, we become more aware of our capabilities when making commitments and the potential consequences of our acts, hence making us much more vigilant. YN has also allowed us to freely and safely express our thoughts and even on controversial issues, and something that I believe may not be possible in other schools. For instance, I have contributed several articles on moral issues such as gender or reproduction, and some of my colleagues have contributed articles on sensitive political issues. But in this respect, our teachers played a very crucial role, and something that is special in YN, as they are always willing to listen to our opinions, discuss them with us by sharing their points of view, and they would seldom punish us or scold us based on what we think. Although it is not always the case that a consensus can be found between teachers and students, the important point is that we are able to consider opposing opinions when formulating our judgment and exposing ourselves to two sides of the coin, so that we will not be ill-informed. Nonetheless, YN has also taught me that the freedom we enjoy is not absolute. I remember for an edition of the school magazine, I invited a political activist for interview. But then it was later disallowed by our teacher advisor. And for the most recent edition, there was also similar discussion on sensitive imagery. And I still recall the frustration that me and my colleagues had after these two occasions. But after I calmed down a bit and I reflected on myself, I eventually realized that some risks cannot be borne by us students, and it is more rational and considerate for us to look at the broader picture and to consider the potential impacts of our actions on other stakeholders. And learning to become a more considerate person by such experiences in YN, I think is something that is a typical lesson that every YNite will attend throughout their 6 years at YN. Something that is exclusive to YNites and something that I'm forever grateful for. The spirit of being a man for and with others is another essential part of Jesuit education, and also mentioned several times in this occasion. Yet, I always recall how my Chinese teacher in Form 3 enlightened us. He said, to be a man for and with others, first be a man. And to be a man, I believe, is to be a human being with conscience. In YN, we are taught to discern right from wrong, to speak out against injustice, and to respect each other as part of this humanity, regardless of the difference in values and identities. And in this current world that we are living in, it seems that unity cannot be achieved and polarization is the destined outcome. But this should not be the case. I believe that upholding our conscience, as taught by YN, is the first step to achieving unity in plurality, as it requires us to recognize people with opposing beliefs as members of this joint humanity and not to demonize them based on their beliefs or identities. And it also requires us to protect the poor, the neglected, and the vulnerable from injustice and harm. Only by upholding our conscience can different groups in the society coexist in civility and to creatively search for consensus on various controversial problems. Only then can we be men for and with others and to live out the values that we have learned, such as respect, justice, love, and care. And this is something that I took away from YN after my 6 years of education at YN. This is something that I will always remember and thankful for. We graduates are always told that our future is unknown and unpredictable. But something is certain. There will be numerous challenges awaiting us, be it the immense workload from university or the stress from interpersonal relationships. And there will also be ever-urgent problems awaiting our society, our community, such as climate change, political complications, and more. But if we bear in mind what we have learned and experienced at YN, we can undoubtedly surmount these challenges. So in the end, I hope all of us would externalize the lessons at YN to be a man with conscience and to serve the community to the fullest. And on behalf of all YNites here, I wish YN a fruitful and bright future, and may the YN spirit be passed on. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lam. The presentation of Father Barrett Memorial Scholarship 2020 to 2021 now comes to its end. Thank you for participation.